the stuff.
Now live, just to let everyone know.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the Planning Committee of Sandhurst Town Council. And as I always do, I'd like to introduce the function of the Sandhurst Town Council Planning Committee as being an advisory committee. We are what's called a statutory consultee of the Bracknell Forest Council's local planning authority. We do not decide whether an application is refused or approved. We make recommendations to Bracknell Forest, and they are obliged to have due regard to our input, but they do not need to agree with us. So I'll move on with apologies for absence.
That's Councillor Mossing and Councillor Mossing this evening.
Thank you very much. And any declarations of interest from members, and in so doing, I will be declaring an interest on the item under 5, 9 Sundray Estate. That property is my son, the other councillor Birch's neighbour, and so I will hand over to Councillor Brossard at that point, and to make sure everything is above board, I'll just pop out of the room at that point, and I'm sure Darcy will remind me when we get to that point. Are there any other agenda items anybody wishes to? And the usual caveat that if something comes up that you need to declare, then you can do so at that point. And moving swiftly on to the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting, to receive and confirm the minutes of the proceedings of the Planning Committee held on 27th of May as a true and correct record. I'm happy to move those.
I can second that.
Councillor Hill seconded. All those in favour? And that is sort of almost unanimous. Councillor, were you present? Are you with us?
I wasn't present.
Oh, okay. Well, oddly enough, that it doesn't matter if you weren't present. This is the meeting we're approving. Right. I will actually just. Okay. Somewhere at the back, signed and dated. Today's date,
Yeah.
30th, last statement, 6/25, close enough. Thank you, all done. Okay, everybody. We'll move then on to the items on the agenda. And the first one is planning application 25000246, and that's 34 Birbeck Place. And the proposal is a proposed conversion of existing garage into habitable accommodation plus fenestration alterations to the rear. So do we have any comments or input from members?
Well, when I looked at it on the 20th of June, there was no documents up. I don't know whether they've since been put up.
There were subsequently, I think, 3 or 4 documents were
Okay,
put up.
I'll check it.
Whilst I couldn't discover how many bedrooms were actually in the main property, I could not find any material reasons why it couldn't be approved. But if any member wishes to draw attention to any, then let us consider it. But at the moment, the proposition, the proposal, I can't find any reason why the existing garage into habitable space, because there is still sufficient parking to the front.
Yes, as demonstrated, I think there's another
There's
picture
another
that actually shows,
with a
not in a particularly graphic way in terms of dimensions.
no,
So
it's not the best
It's
picture
not,
I've ever
perhaps,
seen.
yes, but it's designed to
Oh, I
demonstrate.
see, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it there.
The reason why I commented about the bedrooms, I couldn't discover how many bedrooms there were in order to, but on the property of that size, if there were 3, it still complied.
Yes, yes. Is there a requirement for them to, is that a main road or a sub road? Because I only asked the questions to reversing out onto a busy main road. Is it
No,
business? It's a cul-de-sac.
That's Burbeck
Oh,
Place.
right,
That's a
yes,
cul-de-sac.
fine. What they'll probably do is drive it in
And
the site.
And there was no input from highway.
No, agreed, fine.
So I'm happy to move no material comments or objections.
Happy to second it, Chair.
Oh, but from the existing, I've got here, the existing front elevation, I would guess it is a 3-bedroom.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, when they were built, if you go back in building, it says erection of 2 3-bedroom, semi-detached houses in the previous planning
Oh, right.
thing, which I've just,
So much,
yeah.
but as I say,
So, but they've got
my
added.
assumption was 3, so therefore still complying.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
So
happy with that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favour?
Goldsmore.
Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you. And that was no material comments, etc.
The next one's actually been approved.
And then there's this.
10th of June.
There's
Prospect House.
another one of these.
That door, just
Yeah.
the sound, if that's right.
Unless they want to join us as members of the public.
We have the door open because of the temperature, but the noise. Thank you for that. We have 25002734, which has already been approved by the borough on the 19th of June. So
750 Oldsmore Road, isn't it?
that's 50 Prospect Cottage, 50 Ellsmore
Yeah,
Road.
got that.
So there is no reason for us to issue our retrospective thoughts on that. But I still can't work out why they send those ones to us. Moving swiftly on, I'm moving now on to 25002874, the Perry Bridge Farm, Wokingham Road, Sandhurst. And the proposal says a proposed erection of 2-storey rear side and front extensions, including proposed erection of a double garage with annex. And this has quite a lot. I've gained a lot of my interest because of its location and the definition being the extensions. When I look at the drawing of members, look at the drawings, the elevations and so forth, it appears to be almost the total demolition of the property that is there, although it does show a couple of walls on one of the drawings still being retained, but the whole configuration being redrawn. And the actual size of the resulting extension, inverted commas, renders the property considerably larger than the previous one. And I looked at the relevant policies here, members, and if anybody has also done that sort of homework, do feel free. But that building actually sits in the countryside. It's outside of the settlement of Sandhurst. And those of you that have seen me in other areas, this is the policy map, and it clearly shows on the policy map the green. The other interesting element of this is that it's not just countryside, but it's also within the Crowthorne Sandhurst Heathland mosaic, and that in old money used to be the gap policy, but we weren't. That got dropped, and this policy is to protect the green and heathland and countryside nature. Now, it might be thought that it is okay to enlarge a house that's already in the countryside, and to some extent that is true, except that under policy LP 35, which the countryside policy shows us, there are quite a few policy subparas and subparas that explain to us that whatever has to happen has to be within keeping with the character that has been established in that area. And of course, down in that area of Perrybridge Farm, the current building is what has been established as within. There's a number of other interesting comments. It states that the annex, which is nearer the road, etc., and the new building isn't going to be visible from either the road or pathways and public bridleways, etc. And I'm challenging that because just up the road, as you come out of Ambarrow Court, you have the Three Castles walk pathway, and if you turn and look to your left, you see Perrybridge Farm there now. And if you go and build, or extend, sorry, I'll use the term, extend a property to this amount, then I contend that it will be visible in the countryside setting. There's another interesting element that the landscape character also that is defined outside settlements, and that's LP 36. Again, strongly talking about the nature of the design in the countryside. We also come across the fact that the entrance, which is onto an A road, the 321, is going to require, there will be more traffic because the annex is to be a habitable dwelling. So there is an increase in the number of dwellings on the site. And so the highways are also difficult, the highways issues, to the extent that the Highways Department at Bracknell Forest have recommended refusal. And the other element that is potentially relevant is on the other side of the road is a local nature reserve. And if a new dwelling is placed just on the other side of the road, and the existing dwelling that there is almost doubled in size, what impact will that have on the visual amenity, first of all, of the local nature reserve, and any impact there may be? So there is a potential conflict there. So I have to say, members, that I shall be recommending refusal because the application represents an unacceptable development in the countryside. The application represents an intensification of use at the site and is out of character with the countryside setting. The size and massing in the area of landscape character is inappropriate. I've got this written down, so you don't need to take it verbatim. Unacceptable development in the B1, which is the Crowthorne Sandhurst Heathland mosaic, and it's not in a location to reduce the need to travel by car because there is no daily public transport available. And so, and also I'm keen to agree with the Highways and Transportation policy statements that they have made. The application is contrary to LP 35, LP 36, LP 27 of the Bracknell Forest local plan, and has the potential to be contrary to LP 31. From our own reasons, from the planning assistance that we have given, I would also put 2106, which is the proposal represents an undesirable spread of development in the countryside, which would be detrimental to the rural character and appearance of the locality. Yeah. And this is an interesting one. It would also be likely to create an undesirable precedence. And I think you all know, members, what happened there when a large developer tried to build 150 houses. And we all know that developers don't go away in that way. So the other one is 2108. The proposal represents unplanned piecemeal development in a predominantly rural area and would have an adverse effect on the character and appearance of the locality. And 2111, the substantial nature of the extension proposed would materially alter the scale and character of the dwelling within this countryside area. And the proposal is thus in conflict with the local planning authorities' policies for the control of development in such areas. That is my proposal. It's somewhat technical, but I believe it is accurate. I believe it is strong, and it will be supported. Do I have a second?
I'm happy to second it, Chairman. can I actually also make a couple of comments?
Oh, please,
Maybe,
please.
Look, I'm mainly referring to Andy Wells Highways report. It does also cover some of the other LPs that have not been mentioned by you, namely LP 27, 50 and 60. So I wonder whether, I'm not necessarily labouring this, I'm not trying to look at additional reasons. Just wonder if those are pertinent or not, or whether we feel
Well,
there's enough.
They are pertinent, which is why in my proposal, I stated this motion supports
Endorses
the recommendation
yes.
of the Highways Department.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that includes all
Yes.
those
Yes.
LP 27, LP 25, LP 26, LP 50 and LP 60, and the references to the paragraphs in the MPPF.
So we're taking the entire content as read, and
We're
concurred
taking-
by us.
We are totally supporting the Highways Department's and therefore not repeating again everything they
I agree.
put.
Fine.
We're asking the local planning authority to add significant weight to it. Okay, have you any other points, councillor, you wish? No, that, okay. So, anybody else have any comments? Okay, all those in favour, please show, for refusal on the ground show. Lovely, that's unanimous, thank you. Oh, that was quite a done. I'm moving on now to to 25002644 Chiandor 2 Richmond Road. And let's just make sure I've got all my bits of paper. And here again, this one was somewhat complex in my analysis. It clearly shows that it's alongside a planning application that was approved in in 2019, I believe. My notes, what did I do? Excuse me a second.
So if it was approved in 2019, I thought it had to be built within 5 years.
I'm just coming to all that.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I was correct.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely correct, councillor. But the application number 1 was it in 2019, and you're right. You're supposed to build them within 3 years or
3 years.
apply again.
To start the development, surely.
Yeah.
Well, to begin
begin.
the planning application. And
Yeah.
some people mean just digging a ditch and you're underway, and that qualifies you. But the history here also shows in the application of 2019 a lot of conditions,
Yeah.
right? And in my years of experience in planning, when I see lots of conditions, it tells me that officers have worked very hard to try and make it conform to policy, right? And what often happens is a developer agrees them at the time, goes away and finds that they're quite difficult to implement, because in 24 last year, another application was submitted,
Yeah.
and it's 00598, 24 00598, and that one has not yet been determined. Okay, so whilst it says a planning application, it shows on the drawing the planning application approved next door, that is no longer extant. So they will have to come back. It's my understanding, they would have to come back because it has expired.
Yeah.
Right.
Past its.
Right,
So
and
I-
the other one, the one they put in there to renew, has not yet been determined.
Mhm.
Now, that means that looking at this application, a number of considerations, the highways people are concerned.
Yeah, I've got highways and read their
Yeah.
report.
Yeah, and one of the things, of course, is the existing bungalow is to remain, and of course, whoever the parking at the front is going to change for them, and they will have to come out into the access road. If you look at
Oh, right.
on the drawing, and if you look on Google Earth, you'll see it's not the prettiest of arrangements.
It's also a very busy road, of course, Richmond Road, because it links College Road with Brampton
Oh, yeah.
Road, and of course
It's a
the
cut
schools
through,
coming out.
and the schools,
Yes.
etc. And
I mean, I drive down there twice a week and there's loads of parked vehicles. That's not school time.
the highways department again objects and recommends that the application is refused. And they're quite concerned about the vehicles and pedestrians. So
To zoom out.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
so again,
I thought they'd had a new wall built on that bungalow.
a new wall.
Yeah,
Sorry, I haven't seen it,
yeah.
so I didn't go personally. I just looked.
That was only because I drive past it so
Yeah.
often.
But if they've got a new wall along the front, because I just saw a fence.
You're right, because I pick up a member from Richmond Road. There is a
Yeah.
it's an elaborate
Wall, isn't it? It's
but it replaces what, a hedge or a fence.
So
It still
was open before.
has an access though.
yes,
It
but
doesn't impede the access.
if the access is to the right, if we look on the drawings here, if the
Yes.
access is to the right, if that's a joint access,
Yes,
that vehicles have got to come there and they're there.
yes.
So they have to contend with the traffic from there
Yes.
as well. And I believe that's one of the worries that the highways department have.
No, I'm happy about that.
Sorry,
No, it's all right.
no, sorry.
No, that on the
Do you want me to get it up, Hazel?
Google Street View, it just shows it's
Yeah.
not a wall.
We were able to get the street
Yeah,
just
just shows.
members.
This is fairly recent though, isn't it? Probably in the last maybe 6 to 12 months.
Yeah,
Oh, then it's probably not going to be on the one I
the
saw
one I saw it's not on this one,
when I looked it up over the weekend.
which actually was taken May
Post
2025.
rail fence. There we go. If we drop down and do a street view, we'll have a wee look. That's the one with the
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it is up.
Oh, it's no, the wall's next door.
walls next door. So the wall isn't that's number one.
But, yeah.
And the next one to it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if what we don't know, because there are no drawings that allow us to know it, is whether that access on the left is to be used by the bungalow, and the access on the right, according to this plan, will be
The main road access.
one to the
Yeah.
proposed at the back. So there's no clarity there. But as the highways department have examined it and decided it's not safe, I don't think we need to try and double
No.
guess
Oh,
that.
no.
We're not qualified in that context. So I'm very happy to accept
There.
the highways input on that. And with that being said, my proposal is to recommend refusal on the grounds that it's unacceptable backland
Yeah, I was
development
going to say it's
in an area of low density, and that the proposed, and I've actually taken the words from the highways person, and I'll copy you these so you don't have to take my verbatim words. The proposed access arrangements do not demonstrate safe, suitable and efficient access for all users, including for deliveries and emergency access. And accordingly, the proposal is considered to be contrary to, I haven't read the whole paragraph, I've just put that. Accordingly, the proposal is considered to be contrary to the local plan policies LP 25, LP 60, LP 28, 28 Little Roman 9 and LP 50 Little Roman 11, supported by the NPPF, particularly paras 109 and 115, 116 and 117. And when I see that amount of weight behind it, I do believe that is a serious situation that cannot be allowed.
yeah, because I think that was our query when we looked at the other one about the emergency and the vehicles
Exactly.
turning space. Yeah.
So we have some backland policies in our guidance, but I would suggest, because there isn't, given this location, with the other one it would have been, given this location, there isn't any substantial overlooking of neighbourhood.
Mm.
It's,
Yeah, it's a bit further in, isn't it?
but like you never find them when extensions backland. I was considering 2003, but the proposal involves the unsatisfied piecemeal development of backland area, a double building line, which alters the building line, and an inconvenient substandard access. That's fine. The siting of the proposed dwelling in relation to existing neighbours' property would result in loss of privacy. That part, I don't think we need to.
It's not relevant to.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying 203 without the second paragraph, sentence, right? And that's and the other two say pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've proposed that, and Councillor Brossard has.
I'm happy to
Seconded it.
support the recommendation for refusal.
Any debate on that?
No.
All those in favour? Thank you. That again is unanimous. Thank you. Oh, no need to remind me. Next item on the agenda is
You haven't made any notes then, have you then?
sorry.
That I can quit.
No, all my note just says declare interest.
So I can quote that, can I?
And I'm not even going to mention a comment. So I'm going to hand the chair over to Councillor Ross. All those in favour? There we are. You're
Right. Thank you very much. Until Dale has left. Right, the next one then is 9 Sunray Estate. Some of you know it as an unadopted road coming off the near the Rose and Crown going up, and it's
Correct. Duke's Head.
it leads up to you go up New Road and then you go round
that's
and
it, yeah.
Sunray Estate. It leads up to the bollards at the end.
Yeah, that's it.
The
The
residents
next thing.
wanted the bollards removed, but of course it prevents what would be a rat run into St Michael's Road. So what we've got here, the application is for
Single story rear extension.
yes. So let me just bring up the plans that I've got. Yes, here we are. That's it. That's not this. Oh, here we are. That's it. It's quite a modest extension. It's what described as being it's a proposed side story extension.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, that's the place for existing. It's the proposed.
It's true to say there's no common feature in this particular.
No, they're all, it's like
There are bungalows, there are houses.
Yeah.
They've been basically that they've been extended over the years within the curtilage of the land that was available. And there's no change, I think, there's a single garage, isn't there? Is that a garage that is shown? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's described as a bit, yeah.
Yeah, so basically they're incorporating the garage within the dwelling, aren't they?
Yes.
And building over it. And I think it looks smarter.
Well, yes, it's
It look,
yeah.
yeah.
Looking at it, I would say there were no neighbour objections.
Yeah.
There are no highways considerations. It's just basically, I think, someone aspiring to provide a better quality of property
Yeah.
for their family. I think it's very much in keeping with the other areas. I think it's quite an appropriate design. My recommendation, and obviously you're invited to have your views, is that we should support the application as presented.
Yeah.
Does anyone else wish to comment on it? Right, in that case, then I think we can put it to the vote. Those in favour,
Seconder for that.
sorry,
Second.
I'll second it.
secondly, right. Those in favour of the recommendation to approve this planning application, please show.
So does that mean I got?
That's unanimous, right? I'll go and fetch Mr. Birch. It's on. This is an airlock. I think that's like already. Right. Moving on.
Thank you. I'm resuming the chair and going straight into 25000315. And you'll notice it says PAH after, and that stands for Prior Approval Household. That doesn't mean they've been given planning permission. What it means is that they have or believe their extension, which is proposed single-story rear extension to increase kitchen and dining area, it is potentially permitted development. But in order to regularize that, they have put in what's called a prior approval application.
Okay.
So they've given us and the NPA the opportunity to make comments, etc. That's it. And some prior approvals can be determined by government policy, and then it's only left to local planning authorities to apply conditions and so forth. But in this case, this is to assist in regularising permitted development application. And let me just get rid of that. If you notice they highlight on the drawings the actual sort of physical size, and that it is at ground level, etc. So that's the qualifying permitted development type reasons. And having examined the plans, I can find no material reasons why this application should not be approved, unless any of the colleagues have comments.
The only comment I'd make, there is the loss of the garage, but there is no increase in the number of bedrooms, and there is ample parking in what is effectively a cul-de-sac
Yes,
with low traffic activity.
yes, indeed. The examination of the parking issue, as you so rightly said, councillor, there's no additional burden.
Yeah, no change.
No.
No.
So if there's no other input, I'm happy to move no material comments or objections.
Wait to second it.
Thank you,
Yep.
Councillor Hill, to second it. Any comments or debate? All those in favour? Again, unanimous. Thank you very much. And that now brings us up to number 1, St John's Road. And there we are. And the proposal here is proposed first floor extension, single story rear extension and internal alterations. And they didn't go over the top in producing drawings and plans, because they managed to get it all on one stroke 2 pages. But having examined the what it is they're looking to do, I couldn't find any significant planning reasons not to support the application. Have we any other?
It is a very modest property at the moment, and
Yeah.
I think this is next door, isn't it, to the access for Hodges coaches?
Yep, that's the one.
Yes.
And if you look at it, you've got this tiny little thing, and then there's, if you look on Google Earth, that this one that's shown on the left up at the top, the house is being built to replace a similar one. Right alongside it is a similar amendment.
I think there is no parking provision, I believe, is there. The parking will be street parking.
That's how it is.
As is at the moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've ended up in an IT shop. Let me just.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to go. That's where you need to be. Down there.
There we are.
Oh,
Yes, show it down.
Just on the right, it's a bit further down. Well, that's there it is. That's it. Yes, that's it there. Sorry. And you're not. There is no on-site parking currently, so therefore parking arrangements are what they are. And
It's also a cul-de-sac. It's a fairly low traffic activity. The only activity really is the Hodges coaches going in and out.
those are predominantly going away from turning away from this particular building. If you can just come out of Street View and just do a look see, if you drop out of Street View and just do the street from above. That's it. Well, now come back down a bit because I'm not quite. That's it. You'll see that the spread of the other properties in the area, I think this must be almost the last of the small. There's a smaller one down towards the end, but I think this is not setting any precedent. Let me put it that way. I can find no material planning reasons to refuse.
It lends itself to expansion.
And it's got the space to do it. There are no parking limitations that we are aware of. Let's put it that way. So I'm pleased to recommend no comments, no material comments or objections. Is that seconded by Pappy? Seconded. Ross has seconded. Any debate, members? There being none, all those in favour? That is unanimous as well. So that concludes the planning applications for tonight. And you'll be pleased to know I have a very short neighbourhood plan update because the neighbourhood plan has been presented to Bracknell Forest. They have very kindly come back with technical comments, and we are now working on, and we will be going back to them soon. And once they're content, we will be going out to what's called a Regulation 14 consultation, which takes 6 weeks. That is unlikely to happen this side of the summer holidays. But what we are doing is the working group are borrowing Sandhurst Town Council's gazebo, and we're looking to attend a number of locations throughout the summer so that the public can come and see what we're doing, meet with members of the working group, ask any questions and get any advice that may be appropriate. And then if they wish to be consulted in the next phase, if they leave their contact details and email, etc., then the working group will make sure they're contacted with the new version, and so they can have their say. So we are still engaging with our residents up until at the end of that consultation. It will then go back to Bracknell Forest, who will give it to an independent inspector who will review it for its technical content. If that is any adjustments will then be made. We will then get that ratified by Sandhurst Town Council, and then it'll go back to Bracknell Forest, who will then prepare a referendum, and everybody in Sandhurst, all residents, will get the opportunity to vote for the new neighbourhood plan. The only thing we did see what was in the offing, and the council did secure a budget for the completion of the neighbourhood plan, because the government has just stopped funding neighbourhood plans. So we were, as a council, quite forward thinking in making sure that there was going to be sufficient funding to deliver the neighbourhood plan. That's me, folks. Thank you very much. I'll I'll give you a one or two paragraph update after the meeting. Thank you, everybody. The meeting is closed.
Thanks. So,